Hey everyone, and welcome back to week 13 of Excel Masterclass series. So this week, we're focusing on a feature that helps you control data entry in your spreadsheets. So that is data validation. Whether you're managing sales reports or creating different templates, data validation helps you reduce the errors and keep everything clean and consistent. So let's dive in using our auto sales example that we have been using for the previous videos. So before we start, what is data validation? So data validation is a tool in Excel that lets you set rules for what users can or they can't enter into a spreadsheet or a cell. So let's say you want to restrict input to a list of car brands or prevent dates from being outside a certain range or any different kind of data validation like a range of numbers. Data validation makes it really easy for you. So let's jump onto a spreadsheet where we can take a look at the examples. So first I have here on the screen, as you can see, we are going to try three different validations. And the first one we're going to make is the sale ID. So let's say for an example, every car sales, you have a set number of series that you want people to enter. They can enter anything lower than a specific number and not higher than a number. So in that case, let's say what you want to do is select the cell where they will be entering that number, the sale ID number. And once you have that selected, go to the data tab on the top, and then you'll see an option that says data validation. So click on data validation, and then right now what you can see on the screen is the validation criteria. It says any value. So let's say we want to add, the cell is going to contain a number, not a text. It's just going to contain a specific number. So we are going to select a whole number, and then you can choose different options from here. If you want to ignore the blank values, or if you want to make it like a default, it can't have a blank value. So you can uncheck this box which says ignore blank. And then the data, you have different options, like it should be equal to, greater than, all that. So right now we are going to talk about a specific range. So I want the number between, let's say, 1001. So that's going to be the first sale ID, and 1010. Let's say for this example, we're just going to talk about the 10 numbers that we have here. And as soon as I click OK, this is how the data validation is saved in this specific cell. So let's give it a try. I can enter 1002 and it's gonna take that value. But if I put 1000, it's gonna give me an error that this value doesn't match the data validation restrictions in this cell. And same thing for, if I go ahead and if I type 1100 instead of 1010, it's again going to give me that error. So you can simply restrict people from entering whatever the restrictions that you have in mind, and you want to make sure that they enter a specific value within your specified range. So that's how you play around with numbers. Second example that I have here is the car make. So let's say you just deal with a certain companies. You don't want people entering any different any brand, or you don't want to, you want to avoid that human error mistakes. So in that case, what you can do is same thing that we did for sale ID, and I'm going to leave a value here for now. So same thing for car makes. Let's say you are dealing with 5 companies and you just want to talk about the 5 companies, or want the sales rep to select one of the 5 companies specified, and they don't have to type anything in. So let's say we want to create something like a drop down. So in that case, what you can do, same thing, we'll select the cell, go to data validation, and in the first drop down here, we will go and select a list. So in this case, what we want to do is, you can have a in cell drop down, and where it says source, you can always bring multiple values from a specific source, or if you have just a couple items, you can always type them all in separated by a comma. So I want to start by typing the names here. So as you can see, I'm typing the brands here. Got Volvo, and then let's say these are the only 5 brands that you are dealing with. So click OK, and now whenever you select the cell, you're going to see that down arrow which says this is a drop down. And when I click on that, that's how I can create drop downs or just specified values that I can select. And same thing, if I want to make this for the whole row, I can simply drag and drop this thing for all the cells, and now every cell is going to have that drop down here. So that's how easy it is when you want to create a specified range of items within like a text range. And if I go ahead, if I start typing anything here, let's say if I type Nissan, it's not going to take that. So now I know I just have to make sure that the sales rep, they select the correct car make, and then they don't have to enter any value. Moving on to the third example that we have here is the year column. So in this case, what you can do is you can either have a drop down, but in that case you're gonna have to enter a lot of different values for each year. Or let's say you just sell or you just buy cars which are newer, after like all the cars after year 2000. So in that case, what you can do is same thing that we did for the previous ones. Select that cell, go to data validation, and then in this any value, instead of this, you could either do a list where there's going to be a drop down for the year, or what you can do is you can do a whole number, same thing, and the year is going to be between 2000 and let's say we have the 2026 models already out right now. So I can do 2000 and the maximum is going to be 2026. Select OK, and then just copy these values all the way down. And what I can do is now if I enter 1999, it's not going to take that value. It's always going to be year 2000 or up. If I enter 2027 or 2028, it's not going to take that value. So this is pretty much similar like a whole number that we did for sale ID. And if you want to do a drop down for year, if I put 2025, it's going to take that value because it's within that specified range that we just did. So that's how you can play around with different cells. Just create your own defined situation or your own criteria where you are 100% certain that people don't end up entering any random values that doesn't make sense to your whole spreadsheet. Alright, so that's data validation in Excel, an underrated but extremely powerful way to make your spreadsheet smarter, cleaner, and error-proof. So if this video was helpful, give it a like, leave a comment, and with how you've used data validation, and subscribe for week 14.